Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you have been keeping an eye on the gaming world lately, then you probably already know something huge just went down on Steam. Today we are taking a deep dive into what Valve just did with this so-called Rule 15. It sounds boring at first, like some tiny legal update no one cares about, but trust me, this thing is a game changer for us. So here's the headline. Valve, yeah, the company behind Steam, just introduced another Rule 15 to Steam. At first glance, it sounds like your average boring policy change. But here's the twist. This rule gives payment processors like Visa, MasterCard, and PayPal the power to basically decide what content is allowed on Steam. Yep, you heard that right. Not governments, not courts, not even Steam themselves in some cases. Now, it's the banks and credit card companies calling the shots on what games you can and can't see, buy, or sell. Let that sink in. Here's what Rule 15 actually says. Content that may violate the rules and standards set forth by Steam's payment processors and related card networks and banks or internet service providers. In particular, certain types of adult content. So this sort of content is not going to be allowed on Steam. I'm gonna translate the legal mumbo jumbo into plain English. Steam is banning any games that goes against the rules of their payment partners. Basically, if Visa or PayPal doesn't like something, Steam has to remove it. Doesn't matter if it's legal in your country. Doesn't matter if it's already past Steam's old review system. If the big money guys don't approve it, it's up. And this isn't just some future policy. They already dropped the hammer. Overnight, hundreds of games were wiped out of Steam. Gone. Developers woke and found their games completely removed. Just like that. Now, imagine you are one of those devs, right? You have been working on your game for months, maybe years. You jumped through all of Steam's approval hoops, maybe even made some sales and started building a fan base. And then, boom. It's gone, it's deleted. Valve gave affected developers $100 credit as a sort of apology. Here's what Valve officially says, right? We are directly notifying developers of these games and issuing app credits should they have another game they'd like to distribute on Steam in the future. And that's what, $100 credit? But come on, that's barely anything. For indie devs specifically, that's not even enough to cover 1 month of basic promo or tools. Some of these folks just lost their entire source of income. And the worst part, it's not always clear why their game got flagged. There's no transparency, no breakdown of what rule was broken. It's like playing a game where the rules keep changing and the referees are just invisible. So why would a huge company like Valve, which used to pride itself on free expression, suddenly hand over control to financial companies? Simple answer, money. If payment processors like PayPal or Visa cut Steam off, the whole platform would be in serious trouble. No payments, no sales, no Steam. And these companies aren't bluffing. They have pulled support from other platforms before. Valve basically had to make a choice. Keep the edgy content and risk being cut off from all major payment platforms, or clean up the store to keep the cash flowing, and they obviously would choose survival. Here's where it gets crazier. They didn't start with Valve. The pressure came from a group called Collective Shout, based in Australia. They're an activist group focused on removing what they call harmful content, specifically in adult or NSFW space. Here's what Collective Shout says about themselves. Collective Shouts is a grassroots movement challenging the objectification of women and sexualization of girls in media, advertising, and popular culture. We target corporations, advertisers, marketers, and media which exploit the bodies of women and girls to sell products and services and campaign to change their behavior. More broadly, we engage with issues relating to other forms of sexploitation, including the interconnected industries of pornography, prostitution, and trafficking, and the growing market in the sale of children for live distance child abuse and trade in child sex abuse dolls and replica body parts. So obviously, whatever they're doing, I cannot say they're doing wrong, right? They are doing the right thing. But in case of games, things become a little bit different, right? It enters a little bit of a vague territory. And instead of going after Steam directly this time, they pulled a sneaky move. They went after the money. They wrote an open letter, not to Valve, but to PayPal, Visa, and MasterCard, and thousands of people backed it. Their strategy, if you can't pressure the platform, pressure the people funding the platform. And it worked. This is the same method that got adult content banned from Tumblr a few years ago. And once the payment processor stepped in, the platform literally had no choice but to obey. Now, let's talk about one of the flashpoints in this whole situation. A game called No Mercy. This game contains some seriously messed up stuff, like seriously messed up, including scenes described as non-consensual and involving family members. Yeah, pretty disturbing as it sounds. The game was already illegal in countries like UK and Australia, and yet for some reason it was still up on Steam, even after new content laws came into effect. That gave groups like Collective Shout exactly the kind of ammunition they needed. They pointed out to No Mercy and said, see, Steam is letting this stuff slide through. And from that moment on, things really escalated fast. Now, I'm not even offended about games like No Mercy going out, because obviously some of these games were really messed up and they can leave a really negative impact on the people who are playing this sort of games. But here's the part that really stings for long-time gamers, right? Back in 2018, Valve made a big public promise. They said they will not play content cop. Their stance was simple. If something wasn't legal or blatant trolling, it was allowed on Steam. Gamers loved that. It felt like lost wild west of gaming, a place where weird, creative and controversial ideas could still thrive. But now, just a few years ago, that promise has been tossed out. The reality is even Valve has to play by the rules of the financial system. After all, it's a business. And just when you think that things couldn't get worse, it's not just Steam that's dealing with this. Over at itch.io, the indie game platform known for being super open and supportive of creators, similar things are happening. Adult tag games are quietly disappearing from search and browse features. Some devs are reporting that their earnings are frozen. And yes, developers at itch.io directly blamed pressure from payment processors. Here's what they actually said. This is a time-critical moment for itch.io. The situation developed rapidly and we had to act urgently to protect the platform's core payment infrastructure. Payment infrastructure is the keyword here. So what we're seeing right now is a domino effect. One platform caves in, then another, and before you know it, entire genres of games are just being erased. Now, you may be thinking, I don't even play NSFW games, so why should I care? But here's the deal, right? This sets a really dangerous precedent. If financial companies can decide what kind of legal content is allowed based on whether they approve it or not, where does this stop? Today it's adult games, tomorrow it could be political themes, or any games with violence, LGBTQ plus content, or anything that someone finds objectionable. This isn't about protecting people, it's about monopoly and control. And if we let that control tighten without pushing back, we're going to lose a lot more than just a few niche titles. But all hope's not lost. Developers are already fighting back. There's a petition being drafted asking the UK government to step in and protect legal content from being censored by corporate pressure. The devs aren't asking to post anything illegal, they just want a fair playing field. And if the content is within the law, they should be allowed to publish it and get paid for it without being blocked by financial gatekeepers, right? The whole situation has sparked a much bigger conversation about one who really controls the internet. Is it us, the users? Is it the platforms? Or the people who are just handling the money? So here's where we're at right now. Steam is no longer the free-for-all platform it used to be. Rule 15 marks a big shift. And yeah, it may make Steam a safer place for some, but it also makes it a lot more controlled, more sanitized, and less creative. The power balance has shifted from developers and gamers to corporations and credit companies. And whether you are into adult games or not, that should make you think twice. So what's the answer? Should we let payment processors who honestly just want to avoid bad press image decide the future of gaming? Should Steam and itch.io fight back, even if it means taking a financial hit? And for us, what can regular gamers and small devs actually do about it? It can feel hopeless, but the first step is to stay informed and stay loud. I want to know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Have you lost a game you loved in this whole fiasco? Are you a creator worried about your next project? Or do you think Valve is just doing what it has to do to survive? And hey, if you like this video and want more deep dives into everything that's going on with gaming, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe, and that bell thing, just do whatever you can so you don't miss out on the next upload. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.